Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is R.S. Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts that quality and credibility should be the pillar for Brand India. Inaugurates National Metrology Conclave 2021. Seventh round of talks between central government and farmer unions concludes in New Delhi. Next meet on Friday. National COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 96.19%. I&B Minister Prakash Javadekar says government has asked all ministries and departments to fast-track adoption of DigiLocker. And India launches the 40th scientific expedition to Antarctica. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asserted that quality and credibility should be the pillar for Brand India. Delivering the inaugural address of the National Metrology Conclave 2021 through video conferencing today, Mr. Modi lauded the feats achieved by Indian scientists and technicians. Highlighting the achievements of Indian scientists, the Prime Minister hailed the approval of 2 made-in-India COVID-19 vaccines by the drug regulator. He said the country is on the threshold of beginning the largest vaccination program in the world, and the entire country is indebted to all our scientists and technicians.
नया साल अपने साथ एक और बड़ी उपलब्धि लेकर आया है। भारत के वैज्ञानिकों ने एक नहीं 2 मेड इन इंडिया कोविड वैक्सीन विकसित करने में सफलता पाई है। भारत में दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा कोविड वैक्सीन प्रोग्राम भी शुरू होने जा रहा है। इसके लिए देश को अपने वैज्ञानिकों के योगदान पर बहुत गर्व है।
Mr. Modi said the government's impetus towards strengthening the collaboration between industry and institutions has resulted in setting up of many world-renowned research centers in the country. He said due to the constant efforts of the center, the country today stands among the top 50 countries in the global innovation rankings. The Prime Minister said CSIR and other science institutes in the country came to the fore and found a solution to the global pandemic and also played a pivotal role in scientific evolution.
इन वर्षों में इस संस्थान की अनेक महान विभूतियों ने देश की उत्तम से उत्तम सेवा की है। यहां से निकले समाधानों ने देश का पथ प्रशस्त किया है। CSIR, NPL ने देश के विकास के साइंटिफिक एवोल्यूशन और इवैल्यूएशन दोनों में अपना अहम रोल निभाया है।
Mr. Modi affirmed that the country has developed respect towards scientific institutions due to the role played by them during the corona crisis. The Prime Minister urged CSIR scientists to converse with students of educational institutes of the country and share their experiences with the youth. He said this would help in developing the next generation of young scientists.
मैं चाहूंगा कि CSIR के वैज्ञानिक देश के ज्यादा से ज्यादा स्कूलों के साथ छात्र छात्राओं के साथ संवाद करें। कोरोना काल के अपने अनुभवों को और इस शोध क्षेत्र में किए गए कामों को नई पीढ़ी से साझा करें। इससे आने वाले कल में आपको युवा वैज्ञानिकों की नई पीढ़ी तैयार करने में, उन्हें प्रेरित करने में बड़ी मदद मिलेगी।
The Prime Minister urged everyone to move forward in the direction of new standards and benchmarks to add thrust to the resolutions made towards evolving an Atmanirbhar Bharat. He said the country today has new challenges and goals. Mr. Modi added that capacity building in the country will be determined by the standards and quality that we maintain. Speaking about metrology, he said that it is the foundation of methodology. He said it increases credibility of our products in the world. The Prime Minister said emphasis should be made not only to boost demand of made-in-India goods, but also to increase its acceptance.
कोई भी रिसर्च माप और नाप के बिना आगे नहीं बढ़ सकती। यहां तक कि हमें अपनी उपलब्धि भी किसी न किसी पैमाने पर मापनी ही पड़ती है। इसलिए मेट्रोलॉजी मॉडर्निटी की आधारशिला है। जितनी बेहतर आपकी मेथोडोलॉजी होगी उतनी ही बेहतर मेट्रोलॉजी होगी, और जितनी विश्वसनीय मेट्रोलॉजी जिस देश की होगी उस देश की विश्वसनीयता दुनिया में उतनी ही ज्यादा होगी।
Mr. Modi added that the Bharatiya Nirdeshak Dravya will help manufacture quality products in the country. The Prime Minister said that the country is moving from industry-oriented approach to consumer-based approach. He added that worldwide acceptance of Indian brands will boost the MSME sector in the country and will add to the exports and imports as well. Mr. Modi said that the value chain cycle of science, technology and industry is key for the growth of any country. The Prime Minister dedicated the National Atomic Timescale and Bharatiya Nirdeshak Dravya to the nation and laid the foundation stone of National Environmental Standards Laboratory. The National Atomic Timescale generates Indian Standard Time with an accuracy of 2.8 nanosecond. Science and Technology Minister Dr. Harshvardhan and Director General CSIR Sheikh Harmande and Principal Scientific Advisor to the Central Government Professor K. Vijay Raghavan were also present on the occasion. National Metrology Conclave 2021 was organized by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research National Physics Laboratory, New Delhi, which has entered into 75th year of inception. The theme of the conclave is Metrology for Inclusive Growth of the Nation.
Medical experts have welcomed the government's decision to approve 2 coronavirus vaccines for emergency use in the country. All India Institute of Medical Sciences AIIMS Director Dr. Randeep Singh Guleria has lauded the work done by Indian laboratories in making indigenous vaccines. He said the research has been done in the country and it's truly an Indian vaccine. Dr. Guleria said these vaccines are cost-effective and easy to administer as they can be stored at temperatures between 2 to 8 degrees Celsius.
The Government of India has selected priority groups who will be vaccinated based on risk factors. The first group will include healthcare workers and frontline workers. The second group that will receive the COVID-19 vaccine will be persons over the age of 50 years and persons under 50 years with comorbid conditions. It is advisable to take the complete vaccine schedule as far as COVID-19 is concerned because we want to protect ourselves and also protect our near and dear ones, our close contact, our family members and our co-workers.
Lieutenant General Ved Chaturvedi of Sir Gangaram Hospital, Delhi, has said that the corona vaccines approved by the government are fully safe.
जहां तक सेफ्टी की बात है, मैं देश को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं। जो ट्रायल्स हुए हैं सभी वैक्सीन्स के, चारों वैक्सीन्स के, 2 इस कंट्री में नहीं है और 2 हमारे पास हैं। जहां तक सेफ्टी का इश्यू है, इसको देश को घबराना नहीं चाहिए। ये बिल्कुल सेफ वैक्सीन्स हैं।
Head of COVID Task Force and Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul said that it is a big achievement in India's fight against the pandemic.
2 वैक्सीन का एसेंशियल होना, अधिक होना बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है देश के लिए, बहुत गर्व का दिन है। और जो कोरोना के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई है, पेंडेमिक है, उसको अल्टीमेटली रोक के खत्म करने के लिए बहुत बड़ा कदम आज सामने है। हमें ये लेकर चलना है कि दोनों वैक्सीन में जो परमिशन मिली है वो इमरजेंसी यूज की जो मिली है और उसमें थोड़ा फर्क है। जो सीरम वैक्सीन कोविशील्ड है उसके बारे में साधारण कंडीशंस हैं जो कि हम इमरजेंसी यूज में लेते हैं।
Dr. Naresh Trehan of Medanta Medicity has said that the vaccine will be fully effective after its 2 doses.
तो पहला डोज जो होगा वैक्सीन का वो स्टिमुलेट करेगा इम्यून सिस्टम को और यू कैन से कि इट्स लाइक अ टीजर, पर उसकी फुल इफेक्टिवनेस के लिए एक सेकंड डोज एज अ बूस्टर लगता है। जो बूस्टर डोज दिया जाता है उसके बाद कैसे बनती है और कितनी स्ट्रांग बनती है। सो ट्रायल से ये पक्का पता लग गया कि ये 2 डोज की वैक्सीन है। दूसरा डोज बहुत जरूरी है टू गेट द फुल इम्यूनिटी। कुछ हाफ इम्यूनिटी हो सकता है कि डेवलप हो जाए पहले डोज से, बट उसको बूस्ट करने से द इम्यून सिस्टम विल मैन्युफैक्चर इनफ एंटीबॉडीज, स्पेसिफिक एंटीबॉडीज के एक शख्स को जिसको लगी है उनकी पूरी इम्यूनिटी बने।
World Health Organization has welcomed India's decision to allow the use of 2 COVID-19 vaccines. Its regional director, Dr. Poonam Khetrapal Singh, said WHO welcomes the first emergency use authorization given to COVID-19 vaccine in the WHO Southeast Asia region. It will help intensify and strengthen the fight against COVID-19 pandemic in the region. Drugs Controller General of India, DCGI, has given its approval for restricted use of two COVID-19 vaccines, Serum Institute of India's Covishield and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin, in emergency situation. The announcement for granting permission to these two vaccines was made by the Drug Controller General of India, VG Somani, during a press conference yesterday. Now we bring you our segment on FAQ to know more about COVID-19 vaccination.
Will COVID-19 vaccine be given to everyone simultaneously?
Government has identified high-risk groups to be vaccinated on priority. The first group includes healthcare and frontline workers. The second group will be persons over 50 years and persons with comorbid conditions. Subsequently, the vaccine will be made available to all others in need.
Will the vaccine be safe as it is being introduced in a short span of time?
Vaccines will be introduced in the country only after the regulatory bodies clear it, based on its safety and efficacy.
Is it mandatory to take the vaccine?
Vaccination for COVID-19 is voluntary. However, it is advisable to receive the complete schedule of COVID-19 vaccine for protecting oneself and limiting the spread of the disease.
Is it necessary for a COVID-recovered person to take the vaccine?
It is advisable to receive a complete schedule of the vaccine irrespective of the past history of infection, as it will help in developing a strong immune response.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has hailed the emergency authorization of two COVID vaccines, saying that India's leap of science with the vaccine announcement is a clear manifestation of the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. He said this will not only benefit the Indians but also the larger humanity. Appreciating the India's efforts for developing the indigenous vaccine, Mr. Naidu said Covaxin has certain unique features based on the whole virus approach. He added that India is in the forefront of shielding the humanity from the deadly disease by demonstrating its ability to mass produce the much-needed vaccine. Bharatiya Janata Party today criticized the opposition for doing politics over the development of COVID vaccines. Addressing media in New Delhi, BJP spokesman Sambit Patra said that it is very painful that such kind of politics is being done over corona vaccine. He said BJP President JP Nadda also asked the Congress and other opposition parties to introspect over it as to why they are adopting such an attitude which can help the vested interest groups.
दो प्रजाति परेशान है वैक्सीन आने के बाद। कोरोना वायरस बहुत परेशान है और कांग्रेस पार्टी बहुत परेशान है। समझ में आ रहा है कोरोना वायरस क्यों परेशान है, क्योंकि कोरोना वायरस के दिन अब गिने चुने रह गए। कांग्रेस क्यों परेशान है, इसका जवाब कांग्रेस को ही देना पड़ेगा। आखिर कांग्रेस और ये ऑपोजिशन पार्टी भारत के साइंटिस्ट हैं, उनके आत्मबल को, उनके कॉन्फिडेंस को तोड़ना क्यों चाहती है, क्या कारण है?
Mr. Patra questioned why Congress is not happy over the development of two vaccines, which is a big achievement for the country. Union Health Ministry today said a total of 38 samples have been found to be positive with the new UK variant genome. 10 of these are in Nimhans, Bengaluru, 3 in CCMB Hyderabad, 5 in NIV Pune, 11 in IGIB Delhi, 8 in NCDC New Delhi and 1 in NCBG Kolkata. The positive samples are being tested at 10 labs for genome sequencing. All these persons have been kept in single-room isolation in designated health care facilities by the state governments. Their close contacts have also been put under quarantine. Comprehensive contact tracing has been initiated for co-travelers, family contacts and others. Genome sequencing on other specimens is going on. The situation is under careful watch and regular advice is being provided to the states for enhanced surveillance, containment and testing. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts that quality and credibility should be the pillar for Brand India. Inaugurates National Metrology Conclave 2021. Seventh round of talks between central government and farmer unions concludes in New Delhi. Next meet on Friday. National COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 96.19%. INB Minister Prakash Javadekar says government has asked all ministries and departments to fast-track adoption of DigiLocker. And India launches 40th scientific expedition to Antarctica. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 96.19% as more than 19,000 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours. The Health Minister said the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 99,46,000. The actual caseload currently comprises only 2.36% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is around 2,43,000. During the past 24 hours, 16,505 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 1 crore 3 lakh. 214 deaths were also reported during the last 24 hours, taking the toll to 1,49,649. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.45%, which is one of the lowest globally. According to Indian Council of Medical Research, more than 7,35,000 tests were conducted during the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far has reached 17 crore 56 lakh. In Bihar, all educational institutions reopened from today with strict compliance of COVID protocols. Schools from class 9th onwards, colleges and coaching institutes are permitted to allow only 50% of students. These institutions were closed from March last year due to corona pandemic. They have been asked to call students in batches on alternate days. Principal Education Secretary Sanjay Kumar said students will be allowed to attend the physical classes only after getting written consent from their parents or guardians. The educational institutions have been instructed to make arrangements for online classes for those who do not wish to attend the physical classes. The government has also released preventive measures to contain spread of COVID-19 in all government and private schools and higher educational institutions. The government of Odisha has allowed schools, colleges and universities both in the public and private sectors to reopen from early this month. While schools will reopen from Friday, colleges and universities will start physical classroom teaching from next Monday. All schools in the Union Territory of Puducherry reopened today after a gap of 9 months due to COVID-19 lockdown. A report from our Puducherry correspondent.
Classes for Standard 1 to 12 will be conducted from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Classes for Standard 1, 3, 5 and 7 will be on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and the classes for 2nd, 4th, 6th and 8th will be on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturdays. Already, doubt clearing classes for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th standards have started here, and classes for UG and PG courses in colleges were also started on December 17th. Full-time classes will be started from January 18th, for which the Education Department had already issued standard operating procedures. Chandramohan, AIR News, Puducherry.
With steady improvement in the pandemic situation in Maharashtra, schools in some districts of the state have reopened from today. Schools under municipal limits of Pune, Nashik, Aurangabad and Palghar have resumed classes for students from 9th standard to 12th standard, adhering to the SOPs issued by the government.
With a steady slide in the number of new COVID patients, Mumbai Civic Body has shifted its focus on the preparations required for the vaccination process. While initially 8 centers will be used for vaccination, the Civic Body plans to increase the centers to at least 75 in the coming days. More from our correspondent.
The Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai is planning to convert jumbo COVID care centers at Bandra Kurla Complex, Baikala, Dahisar, Mulund and Worli into vaccination centers. Mumbai's additional municipal commissioner said that arrangements have been made to start vaccination within 24 hours of the availability of the vaccine. With over 1.26 lakh healthcare workers from public and private sector up for vaccination in the first phase, preparations are afoot to administer the vaccine to around 12,000 people per day. Meanwhile, work on developing a model vaccination center at Coop Hospital and redevelopment of a building in Kanjur Marg as cold storage facility is also in final stages. Isha Rani, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Ministry of Finance has released the 10th weekly installment of 6,000 crore rupees to the states to meet the GST compensation shortfall. Out of this, an amount of over 5,516 crore and 60 lakh rupees has been released to 23 states, while an amount of 483 crore and 40 lakhs to the 3 union territories of Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir and Puducherry. The remaining 5 states, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland and Sikkim, do not have a gap in revenue on account of GST implementation. Now, more than 50% of the estimated GST compensation shortfall has been released to the states and UTs with the Legislative Assembly. Finance Ministry in a statement said that the government had set up a special borrowing window in October 2020 to meet the estimated shortfall of 1.10 lakh crore rupees in revenue arising on account of implementation of GST. The borrowings are being done through this window by the central government on behalf of the states and UTs.
The central government today held the 7th round of talks with the representatives of 41 farmer unions at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi to address the issues concerning them. The meeting was attended by Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Minister of State for Commerce and Industry Som Prakash and representatives of various farmer unions. At the outset of the meeting, a 2-minute silence was observed for those who had lost their lives during the agitation. Mr. Tomar said that keeping in mind the discussions during the previous meeting, the government is committed to find solutions on farmer issues with an open mind and both sides need to take steps forward to find solution. Talking to reporters after the meeting, the Agriculture Minister said that the government wanted farmer unions to discuss the 3 farm laws clause-wise, but they could not find any solution as farmer unions remain adamant on the repeal of these 3 laws. Mr. Tomar said that the government and farmer unions both decided to meet again for the next round of talks on 8th of January for a further discussion to arrive at an amicable solution.
सरकार और यूनियन दोनों की रजामंदी के कारण ही 8 तारीख की बैठक तय हुई है। इसका मतलब किसानों का भरोसा सरकार पर है और सरकार के मन में किसानों के प्रति सम्मान और संवेदना है। मैं समझता हूँ चर्चा जिस हिसाब से चल रही है उसके आधार पर मैं कह सकता हूँ कि कुल मिला के किसानों की मान्यता ये है कि सरकार इसका रास्ता ढूंढे और हम सब लोगों को आंदोलन समाप्त करने का अवसर।
During the earlier meeting, the Agriculture Minister had assured the farmer leaders that the government is committed to address their issues and both sides need to take steps forward to arrive at an amicable solution. Mr. Tomar had reiterated that MSP and the Mandi system will continue like before. The demand of farmer unions for an MSP law and the difference between MSP and market rates for agricultural produce will be referred to a committee which is constituted. On the union's demand for the repeal of farm laws, the minister said that this too can be referred to a committee which will study the constitutional validity and propriety, keeping in mind the welfare of farmers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate the Kochi-Mangaluru natural gas pipeline to the nation at 11 a.m. tomorrow through video conferencing. The event marks an important milestone towards the creation of One Nation, One Gas Grid. The 450-kilometer-long pipeline has been built by GAIL India Limited. It has transportation capacity of 12 million metric standard cubic meters per day. It will carry natural gas from the liquefied natural gas LNG regasification terminal at Kochi, Kerala to Mangaluru, Karnataka, while passing through Ernakulam, Thrissur, Palakkad, Malappuram, Kozhikode, Kannur and Kasaragod districts. The total cost of the project was about 3,000 crore rupees and its construction created over 12 lakh man-days of employment. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar informed that the government has asked all the ministries and departments to fast-track the adoption of the DigiLocker. In a tweet today, Mr. Javadekar said the government is moving towards the vision of minimum government, maximum governance to make the service delivery hassle-free and friendly to citizens. The government has decided to integrate all their systems with DigiLocker for issuing and verifying documents from 1st of this month. The International Jury for 51st edition of International Film Festival of India has been announced with eminent filmmakers from across the world. Information and Broadcasting Ministry in a statement said that the jury will comprise Pablo Cesar of Argentina as chairman, Prasanna Vithanage of Sri Lanka, Abu Bakr Shauki of Austria, Priyadarshan of India and Rubaiyat Hossain of Bangladesh. Pablo Cesar is an Argentine filmmaker. He has contributed to the African cinema by making the critically acclaimed films Equinox, The Garden of the Roses, Los Dioses de Agua and Aphrodite, The Garden of the Perfumes. Sri Lankan filmmaker Prasanna Vithanage is considered as one of the pioneers of the third generation of Sri Lankan cinema. He has directed 8 feature films including Death on a Full Moon Day, August Sun, Flowers of the Sky and With You, Without You, and won many prestigious national and international awards and have also been commercially successful in Sri Lanka. Abu Bakr Shauki or A.B. Shauki is an Egyptian-Austrian writer and director. His first feature film, Yomedin, was selected to participate in the 2018 Cannes Film Festival and will screen in the main competition section and compete for the Palme d'Or. Rubaiyat Hossain is a Bangladeshi film director, writer and producer. She is notable for the films Meherjan Under Construction and Made in Bangladesh. Priyadarshan is an Indian film director, screenwriter and producer. In a career spanning over 3 decades, he has directed more than 95 films in various Indian languages, predominantly in Malayalam and Hindi, while also having done 6 films in Tamil and 2 in Telugu.
India today launched the 40th scientific expedition to Antarctica. This Indian expedition marks 4 decades of country's scientific endeavour to the southern white continent. The 40th expedition journey will be flagged off from Goa tomorrow with 43 members on board. The chartered ice-class vessel MV Vasily Golovnin will make this journey and will reach Antarctica in 30 days. After leaving behind a team of 40 members, it would return to India in April. On return, it will also bring back the winter team of the preceding trip. Minister of State for Atomic Energy and Space Dr. Jitendra Singh has said that the Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO, in collaboration with private sector, will boost Atmanirbhar Bharat. In a brief about some recent achievements of ISRO and India's space program, Dr. Singh gave full credit to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose personal intervention had made it possible to arrive at the historic decision to open up India's space sector for participation by private players. He said the decision to create the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Centre in space will provide a level playing field for private companies as well as startups. He added that the proposed range of space activities include small satellites, launch vehicle, geospatial services, satellite constellation and application products. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital will experience thunderstorm with rain. The city will observe minimum temperature of 11 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 20 degrees. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 21 and 29 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will vary between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, there will be fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. The city will observe minimum temperature of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 28 degrees. Srinagar to have moderate snow. The temperature will hover between -2 degrees Celsius and 3 degrees. In Jammu, there will be thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature will be 10 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 12 degrees. Leh will have light snow. The minimum temperature will be -13 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around -3 degrees. Gilgit will experience moderate snow. The minimum temperature will hover between -3 degrees to 5 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have thunderstorm with rain. The temperature will move between 2 to 12 degrees Celsius. Dehradun will observe minimum temperature of 10 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 17 degrees. The city will observe thunderstorm with rain. Chandigarh will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature is likely to hover from 14 to 19 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts that quality and credibility should be the pillar for Brand India. Inaugurates National Metrology Conclave 2021. 7th round of talks between central government and farmer unions concludes in New Delhi. Next meet on Friday. National COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 96.19%. INB Minister Prakash Javadekar says government has asked all ministries and departments to fast-track adoption of DigiLocker, and India launches the 40th scientific expedition to Antarctica. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.